Hi guys, let's do another get ready with me. And of course I'm having a poppy while I get ready. The Shirley Temple flavor is so good, but watermelon is my personal favorite. So if you are watching this video, I'm assuming that you also watched the video that I posted last week. So before I get into anything, I really just wanted to say thank you to everyone that watched that video, that is watching this video. I sure as hell would not have blamed any of you for unsubscribing or just losing interest after all of the time that has passed, and I have gotten a lot of really good feedback, and it was honestly just so heartwarming to read your guys' messages. I responded to a lot of them. I still have to get back to a lot of you though, because I do really appreciate just all of the support. You guys have been with me through many stages of life. I actually was looking at my YouTube yesterday and I didn't realize it has been over 10 years since I posted my first video. Obviously my life now is extremely different than what it was when I started my account, and it just means the world to me that you guys are still here. One of the things that I had mentioned in my last video, which by the way I filmed back in November, so we will get to that. One of the things that I had mentioned was that my break from social media was completely unintentional, and I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. So when I started my break, it was during COVID, and what I realized was that by not being active on social media, I was able to just kind of like live in the moment a lot more, and that's definitely something I had always struggled with while I was active on my social media accounts, was that I would get so like focused on getting the right picture or right angle for a video, or you know, whatever it was that I was trying to capture, that I wasn't living in the moment and I wasn't just being present with where I was. So not caring about that anymore was definitely the most like freeing part of not being on social media anymore. But it's also like a double-edged sword, because when I stopped posting, I stopped taking as many pictures and videos just for my own personal benefit and to have memories. And the break that I took was during some of the most exciting years of my life. I got married, I bought a house, you know, and obviously those are things that I have a ton of pictures of and everything, but I know that I would have loved having more like content and actual videos to look back on, because at the end of the day, I think that's the best part about social media, is like my channel and my accounts are these video diaries essentially of my life. Even though I'm doing it for social media, it just would hold me accountable to make sure I'm documenting things more. That is honestly a lot of the reason that I do want to get back into it. But if I do start posting regularly, I want to know what you guys would even be interested in seeing, because obviously my life has changed a lot in the past 5 years, and the content that I would be making is probably very different from why you followed me in the first place. I was thinking that for my next video, I would do a Q&A just to get an idea of what you guys want to know about, because obviously the video that I posted last week and this video, 5 years is a long time, and there's so many things that I could talk about. And instead of making my videos like super long, I figured I would do a Q&A, kind of like test the waters a little bit, see what you guys are interested in or not interested in, and go from there. Now, I obviously want to address the elephant in the room, which if you watched my last video and you watched it until the very end, you know where I'm going with this. So at the end of that video, I announced to you guys that I was pregnant and on my way to my baby shower. Emphasis on the word was, because I am no longer pregnant. That video was filmed back in November. It is now February. So one of the main reasons that my content now would be very different if I keep posting is that I am a mom. I have a son. I might cry. I'm gonna try not to cry. I have an almost 6-week-old, and to say that these have been the wildest, most life-changing past 6 weeks of my life would be an understatement. My son was born in January, and the fact that it has been almost 6 weeks breaks my heart, for lack of a better word. It has just absolutely flown by, and I cannot believe just how much he has grown, the way that our lives have changed. And while I have taken a ton of pictures and videos for myself, that is another one of the reasons that I feel really motivated to get back into social media, because I do not want to forget this time of my life. I know people call it the newborn trenches. I am like in bliss though. I do not want this to end. I cry at least once a day just about how fast time is going and how I wish I could like bottle these days up to have forever and ever and ever. And obviously I'm excited for the person he's gonna grow into and all of the milestones and exciting years to come. The way that this time has flown by, I know that I will be sad if I don't have a lot of pictures and videos to look back on. The reason that I waited so long to post that video of me getting ready for my shower was because I wanted to make sure that I was like really ready to do this because obviously once I posted that video, I wouldn't be able to take it back. I decided to go ahead and just edit that video and put it out there, and I'm so glad that I did. You know, one of the best things about being on social media is that it was always my creative outlet. Being on maternity leave, it's really easy to get sucked into this like 2 to 3 hour cycle that taking care of a newborn is. And if you don't know, if you don't have any kids, newborns eat every 2 to 3 hours. And I'm also exclusively breastfeeding, so my life basically revolves around his feeding schedule. So to have something that I can do in between, I think will be really good for me. So a little bit about my pregnancy and delivery experience. Don't worry, this isn't going to turn into like a super long birth story vlog or something like that. But I found out that I was pregnant back in April of last year, and I still remember that morning so vividly. But I found out in April. I was due at the beginning of January, and I had an incredible pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. One of the things actually about being postpartum that I've struggled with is that I miss being pregnant, and I know not everybody can relate to that. Now, obviously toward the end, I did start to get a little bit more uncomfortable. I don't think I ever really got to the point where I was like over being pregnant or wishing it away. I just kind of wanted to like soak it in as much as I could because just like I'm saying, these past 6 weeks have gone by so fast. I feel like my pregnancy went by so fast. And I did end up going past my due date, and I had an induction scheduled, but I naturally went into labor 2 days before the scheduled induction, which made me so happy because I did not want to be induced. While keeping this as brief as possible, my goal was to have an unmedicated birth. So the fact that I went into labor naturally was incredible, like I said, but I labored without the epidural for about 14 hours and I was not progressing. So I think when we got to the hospital, it was like 3 in the morning. I was around 1.5 centimeters, and by 6 p.m. I was only at 3 centimeters. So after all of that time, honestly just defeated like physically and emotionally, knowing that I didn't really make as much progress as I wanted to. And because my water broke, they were talking about Pitocin. So I did end up caving and getting the epidural, which I didn't want, but in hindsight was the best decision for me to make because I then ended up in an emergency C-section, and they were able to use my epidural to administer the pain medicine instead of putting me completely under, which really would have broken my heart. That's all I'm gonna say now just about my delivery experience. And although it wasn't what I wanted and I have a lot of emotions surrounding the experience, you really have to count your blessings because I was able to come home with a healthy baby and myself being in good health. You really got to count your blessings. So moving on to a less serious subject. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but I am graying. That started like, honestly, I was like a late teen. I definitely noticed my first white hair when I was like 18, but this has like really picked up in the past few years. And once I found out I was pregnant, I haven't colored my hair since then. So that is something that I want to get back into. I've also struggled with my skin a lot over the past few years. I have a lot of scarring. I do still get some active breakouts though, which is so frustrating. Like, I turned 29 this year. I never would have thought that being this age I would still be experiencing acne like a teenager. I also feel like I've really been trying to find my style again more recently. Part of it is, you know, being postpartum, but I also feel like I just don't like a lot of the stuff that I have. I find myself gravitating more toward casual things anyways. I feel like my whole wardrobe just turned into like workwear, and then I have leggings and stuff that I wear on the weekends. So if I do keep posting, I don't really know what kind of content I would share because obviously a lot of the stuff I used to post was primarily beauty and fashion related. And I definitely think there would be way more of a shift into just general lifestyle content. But I think that's why the Q&A would be a good video to do next. So if you guys want me to elaborate more on anything specific, or you just have questions that you want me to answer, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Little man is waking up from his nap, so I will be right back. Oh my goodness. It's okay. I was not expecting for him to make an appearance in the video, but I am being cut short. I have a little mouse to go feed. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you soon.